hey there, I didn't see you. What are you doing on the ground? Never mind that. In between me, my friend over there, and Chris Rodriguez, we weigh about 600 pounds. Now that's nothing compared to a blue whale that weighs 181 tons. That's 362,000 pounds, 557 times greater than us combined. In order to keep up that much weight, they have to consume about 8,000 pounds a day. That's 40 million krill. But what if the krill just suddenly disappeared? Just the idea that the entire world's krill population suddenly vanishes out of nowhere is scary and concerning, to say the least. And that's, of course, to the extent that we're imagining it. However, reality informs us that just in the past 40 years, the krill population in Antarctica has dropped by as much as 70 to 80%. So nothing catastrophic by any means. And that, of course, leaves us questioning what's going to happen to the whales and, to a larger extent, the entire Antarctic food chain that depends so heavily on a tiny creature like the krill.
What would happen if a large population of, say, krill were to suddenly disappear?
If a large population of krill will suddenly disappear, then the population for the whales would also decrease. Considering that whales consume 40 million krill per day, if they were to suddenly start losing that, suddenly there would be a rapid drop of blue whales.
And that rapid drop of whale population, what effect would that have on the rest of the environment?
You see, whales are actually a very important keystone, considering that any part of the whale is very precious. If a whale were to die, it could feed entire species of fish at the bottom of the floor. And even the whale poop releases CO2 into the air, and it essentially kind of purifies the water for pure oxygen for the fish to breathe.
And this conversation, of course, is a Cadillac for our case study, marine biology and its food web. Food web being, according to Merriam-Webster, the totality of interacting food chains in an ecological community. Food chain being different from food web in that it's the arrangement of organisms in an ecological community in order of predation, or so Merriam-Webster says. With that aside, what does it mean for the environment? Effectively, what this means is that you can't look at a single species in effect by itself. You have to look at it from a grand picture point of view, and that point of view creates new issues revolving around the elimination of certain species, which could negatively impact the entire system. In fact, these species that wield so much power over the entirety of the marine food web are what is known as keystone species. Keystone because, much like the keystone of an arc, the entire thing would tumble without it.
What are some species that, if they went extinct, would have a disastrous impact on the environment?
Let's begin with the leatherback sea turtle. The leatherback sea turtle is a keystone animal because it's one of the few that actually consume jellyfish. Now let's say we start losing some of those leatherback sea turtles. If we start losing some of them, then the population of the jellyfish will obviously increase because there's less of their predators. And with an increase of jellyfish, it can be incredibly disastrous to the marine environment. Because a jellyfish alone, some can eat up to 10 times its weight, although they just need to consume about 1.5 of its weight. But consuming 10 times its weight means it's overeating, which means it's growing, but it's consuming so many of the fish at the same time. And jellyfish are not nice fish. They play dirty. They eat other fish's eggs, which means they eat too many fish. They start eating their eggs, which means there's a rapid decrease in other fish.
Okay, so we see the entire food web is connected in some fashion, but even estuaries like San Francisco Bay are facing more and more issues, even though they have a lot of protection. And these issues could potentially impact the environment, which so delicately hangs in the hands of humans.
How about the salt and water wetlands in San Francisco Bay?
Well, in San Francisco Bay, many of the salt marshes have gone away due to our neglect to them. But over a couple of recent years, many have come back. For example, like the Heron's Head Park, who over the last couple of decades have had a very rare bird birth too young in the last couple of decades.
And you mentioned that they went away. Is it because of our pollution? Or?
Yes, people's neglect towards the safety and protection of the salt marshes.
In what way have agencies tried to protect salt?
Well, there's two agencies that have tried to protect it. One of them being the National Park Service, which has been trying to connect with other agencies to try and protect adequately protect the habitats of these marine animals.
And of course, there's a way for individuals to positively impact the environment. It's just knowing where to look. Organizations like Save Our Shores span both the continental United States and are very present in Californian oceanic communities.
In what way does a worldwide food web connect with San Francisco's ecosystem?
Well, in the case that like a predator population unintentionally goes down, then our San Francisco Bay becomes uninhabitable because there's nothing to feed on or there's nothing to be eaten. And that is indicative of the worldwide web or the worldwide population, because if the population goes down in San Francisco Bay, then that reflects all across the world. And that is certainly something that we don't want, and that's a reason for why there is so much need for the protection of certain animals.
Ultimately, it will be our actions today that will define what future generations will see in terms of a marine environment. And I think for that reason, it is almost our duty to take action and prevent some of the worst things that scientists are predicting will happen. Hey class, thanks for watching. I'm going to put a bunch of organizations here that do a lot of work with the environment and specifically marine ecosystems. But other than that, I hope you go out there and do your best to help the environment.